Haven't moved a muscle.
Ooh, welcome back everybody. I'm very excited for this episode. We just unlocked Malphon the Twin Fists. And so now I get to showcase my thoughts on the easiest build in Hades. So if you've been sticking with me up to this point, well, thank you very much. If you just joined to get my takes on the best builds, then welcome. But the easiest build to put together and escape with, in my opinion, is to use Malphon the Twin Fists along with Divine Strike. This is why we have been sequencing our nectars the way we have. You want to make sure you get your Owl Pendant early. This guarantees that you get an Athena boon first, and 9 times out of 10, she will offer Divine Strike as one of the 3 options. And that makes it so that your attack deflects, and Malphon has a 5-hit attack sequence that you can trigger by just holding down the attack button, which is square in my case. And the way this works is, notice how there's a pause after the 5th attack. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you dash strike, then it starts the combo over, and so you can kind of dash as you attack. All you gotta do is hold the attack button and occasionally hit the dash button with your thumb also, while holding the attack button, and you can just endlessly chain attacks. And as you get practice in, you can count to 4, and then on that 5th one, right before that 5th one, you dash, and it starts it over. So 1, 2, 3, 4 dash, 1, 2, 3, 4 dash, 1, 2, 3, 4 dash, 1, 2, 3, 4 dash. And so you just get this endless loop. That with the deflection makes it so that a large number of attacks become null and void. We're talking about the bomb throwers, we're talking about the flaming chariots. When they explode, you'll just deflect it. Tons and tons of stuff. It makes this just not necessarily the number 1 easiest build in the entire game. That makes it so you can just mindlessly go through, but it's the most consistent of the easy builds. There are builds that will just tear through enemies a lot faster than this, but they're hard to get together. This just requires 1 weapon. It also requires the basic aspect of that weapon, which we'll get into once we unlock all the weapons. You don't have to get any of the stranger aspects, the upgrades to these weapons. This weapon, excuse me. And it only requires 1 boon, Divine Strike, and it's an easy one to get. So, this is my favorite build in the entire game. It's what we are going to primarily use to get all the way through the credits, all the way through the epilogue, all the way through Heat 32. We are no longer now going to be applying Dark Thirst until much later. I'll start paying attention to that later. But for now, we're only going to use the Twin Fists until we start unlocking everything else. That's the plan. So I'll show you how this all plays out here. We've never used this, so we don't need any heat.
Not this time.
Again, if you haven't escaped yet, hopefully this will be your first time. Usually, this is my first time. I got very lucky that one time earlier with Cursed Slash.
Use the rod of fishing there.
So some things to note here too. Even though I have the Athena keepsake, sometimes there are some story-related matters that take precedence. There's one Olympian god that you meet on the 6th escape attempt. That's what this is, and so that takes precedence over my Athena keepsake.
Last time I felt a chill like this was on the surface. But who? Well, one way to find out. Then, in the name of Hades, Olympus, I accept this message.
Or I think it's not, I'll look it up, but I think it's not the 6th escape attempt, it's whatever, some number after you've officially escaped. You get to meet this one.
I understand, young Zagreus, that you would seek to leave that bitter darkness for this bitter cold. Quite honestly, I fail to see why. But I'll aid your plight, why not? For I can offer plenty of assistance, and you soon shall grow fond of it, I think.
So Demeter is the last of the Olympian gods you are most likely to meet. And she's all about chill, which as you might imagine slows the victims, and it can stack. So that's nice, and it lasts a while. And her cast is unusual. It drops a crystal that fires a beam for 5 seconds, and it slowly tracks the opponent. So with that in mind, she also has good attack damage buffs. Plus 40% for the basic level attack boon is pretty high. But since we're really striving to get the Athena attack, I'm going to go Mistral Dash. I do not like Crystal Beam unless you're doing a build focused specifically around Crystal Beam. You can make it good, but again, it takes a lot of work, so I tend to just ignore it. Mistral Dash it is.
Freezing surface now.
And he also mentioned, you see it says fish. We got the rod of fishing last episode. Ooh, excuse me. But you gotta clear out the enemies in any room where a fishing spot pops up, which is that glittering thing in the water. So let's do that. Also, getting a nice dash. Oh, and also, if you heard that ding, that indicates there's a fishing point nearby, so make sure you keep your ears open for that. Another part about the Malfon build here is since you're going to be dashing through enemies, what we're going to do is dash like back and forth and just kind of juggle people. So getting a dash that deals damage right where you land is good. Things that I don't like, I'm trying to think. What are some of the dashes I don't like? Oh, Poseidon Dash. We're trying to keep people, you know, at close range, so the Poseidon Dash knocks people away. So I don't like that one. I think that might be the only one that specifically goes against the Twin Fist build. I'm trying to think. Blade Dash is good. Hunter Dash is okay. Anyway. As long as you don't get Poseidon, it's hard to do wrong. Okay. To fish, you hit R1, or whatever you are using. And it's gonna bob. There's gonna be a bob that bobs up and down. You're waiting for when you hear a snap, and there's like a little glint as it bobs. You'll see it right here.
Let's fish.
You have to be quick with it. So that bob did not count. Nor did that one. That one counts.
Come on out. I caught a knucklehead.
So you saw how it went deeper underwater, and there was a little bit of a flash. That's what you're looking for, and then you hit the same button you did to start fishing. You catch a fish, we're going to turn that into the chef for some resources.
Witches.
But yeah, and Divine Strike is also very good against the witches, because you can just bounce their attacks right back at them. There we go. Now, I don't want to jinx myself, but there is certainly a chance that she does not offer Divine Strike, in which case we'll have to improvise. And later on in the game, there are some abilities that act as a contingency plan.
My reward.
The biting cold surrounding you must mean the goddess of seasons decided to take an interest in your struggle, Zagreus. I did not count on Demeter being a part of this. Take heart, though use discretion around her.
And there it is, Divine Strike. Now it's just a common one, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Now, so everything is just going to go uphill from here. Go ahead and break that urn while I'm next to it. I'm probably not going to talk as much. We're just going to keep moving through, tearing through enemies. I'll voice my thoughts about certain choices out loud, but if you've been following up to this point, then you've heard most of them. And if you're looking in the description, there's a link to my text guide that will also help kind of explain my thought process. Restoring effects is always good. I did just last episode get the 2 house contractor things that make the fountains heal more damage. So this is not as good as it was an episode or 2 ago. I try not to take any damage, but this is always, you know, getting these kind of revenge damage boons is always good. Contingency plan, we're never going to hit the special button, so Frost Flourish is useless. I'll just take that.
It's freezing.
I always like boons that deal damage over things that heal or whatever. I like to think that DPS is more or less king in this game. It's not strictly true, but it's a good tiebreaker.
I'll take that.
Ooh, a new mini-boss. So this guy is gonna teleport around the room and shoot little darts at you, and then occasionally he'll appear right behind you and try to strike you. So you have to dodge every time he appears, and when you notice he dashed right next to you, then you can get your attacks in. Because he'll stick around and kind of taunt a little bit after he attempts to strike you. It's not worth it to try to hunt him down when he's shooting his projectiles, because he teleports a little too quickly. So just wait for him to get the melee, get within melee range.
The most violent wretches of Tartarus are sealed away even from other condemned souls. Their only visitors, those fool enough to attempt escape.
Let's do this again sometime.
This is one of the easiest mini-bosses. Once you get used to him, he only has 2 attacks. Let's see, I like to bold anything, like kind of as a checklist. Treat my guide here I'm looking at right now as a checklist, and I bold anything that I've gotten. And I have not taken the Artemis. I've not given Artemis a nectar yet, but I have to make sure I save 1 up for Eurydice. I don't really need to save 1 up for Persephone yet, because you can't give her a nectar until you reach the credits. Spoiler. And I need to save, so 1 for Eurydice needs to be saved, 1 for Dusa. So I have 2, so I'll give her. And I will bold Artemis.
I hope that you'll accept this offering for all your kindness and support.
Hey, thank you for this, really. And I've just the thing to offer in return. It's just a gift, okay?
Lady Artemis, you honor me.
And we get Codex, get a boon.
When did you get your hands on Malthon the Twin Fists? Hands in, I ought to say. I heard that one time Demeter, she smacked her father right square in the face with those. Bet you can probably relate.
Okay, so special damage up, no. Cast damage up, maybe. Artemis's aid is probably what we're just going to take. Any aid is better than none, so we're still putting keys high up in my priority list.
Out of my sight.
Even though we've unlocked our main, what's going to be my main weapon, I still want to unlock the other weapons so that I can utilize Dark Thirst better, and we need to unlock the mirror. So keys are still heavily important. I think we're more than halfway through Tartarus, so I don't want to go down here and lose the 22 health. Plus, it's not worth giving up a Daedalus Hammer. Daedalus Hammers are the best rooms you can find. Outside of the story rooms, as I call them. Ooh.
Must be the fountain chamber I commissioned back at home.
And here's our first fountain chamber. So get the boon first, or whatever.
Weapons, hidden talents.
What do we got? Special, special, special? Well, that sucks. That is actually awful. None of these assist our attack. So these are all literally useless. We are literally not going to use any of them, so just pick one.
That'll do.
And then you have to use the fountain, no matter what your health is at, before you can leave.
A place of calm and respite, whilst perhaps unimaginable in the underworld, occasionally is to be found, in fact.
And not a moment too soon.
And again, normally I would go for our shops here to try to get some resources, but this is a Sisyphus room, which gives free darkness and a ton of it, so in we go.
Within the depths of Tartarus reside the most wretched of all the shades who linger for eternity within the underworld. whose lord and master is especially unkind to those attempting to cheat death.
Lots of wretchedness to go around.
Caught me on a break again. You know, Prince Ed, I'd not expected to run into you again, not after all this time. Something amiss down in the house, or what? Not had much company of late, is all.
Well, something's just about always amiss back home, sir. Figured it couldn't hurt to check up on things in Tartarus a bit more frequently.
Well, I am grateful for it, I and the old boulder there, in turn. I'm used to going lengthy stretches on my own, but having visitors from time to time would do me well.
So always get darkness for now.
Most excellent. So long for now.
Don't bother giving him a nectar quite yet. His keepsake's not very good anyway. Some people argue his keepsake's one of the better ones, but I disagree. Got a treasure trove down there. Aw. I almost used my call, but killed him first. Okay, so we're kind of all in on the Divine Strike. And then, no. It's like, if that's anything but healing, I'll take it. And then, let me scroll up. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, at this stage, we want gemstones before darkness. Yeah. Gemstones before darkness. Now you can do that treasure trove if you want, because again, there's always a small chance of getting a nectar. But I think the percentage is low enough. Now I have not looked up exactly what the percentage is, but feels like it's low enough to where it's not worth my time to use a treasure chest that gives absolutely no benefit just for that small chance of a nectar.
Mine now.
If it gave me any other kind of benefit, like even if it was just I knew I would get one gemstone, I would do the treasure trove, because then it's worth it. But for the healing, I skip.
Kieran's shop.
Darn, no resources. And since we've never used this weapon, we get a Titan blood if we win this fight.
We meet again.
What's that you're holding, Zagreus? Please tell me that you didn't steal the most dangerous, unstable artifacts sealed shut within your father's vault.
It wasn't I who stole them, if that's any reassurance to you, Meg.
You are a hopeless fool. You cannot possibly know what you're doing with those things. You put them back exactly where you found them.
So I deflected her attack there.
Stand still for me.
Don't ever forget about your call. Ow.
Got me good.
This is the biggest issue with using Demeter. Is slowing down people is nice, but after you've played this game enough, you're so used to the timing that when you slow people down, it throws you off. Throws me off. Because now the timing is different. Anyway.
Maker of veiled
After you use a god's keepsake, it guarantees the next boon is from that god and increases the rarity chance. The increase in rarity chance sticks with you throughout the whole escape attempt, but once you get that one boon, then, you know, all bets are off. So I only ever use a god's keepsake for Tartarus, and then I change it up to the Chthonic coin purse so I can get that free gold. And then when I finish Asphodel, I'll change it to the Lucky Tooth for the rest of the run so I can have that extra Death's Defiance. And again, this is all written in my Google Doc guide. If I needed a second boon, I would use that, which we'll talk about that later. And as we get more keepsakes, this pattern will change. But for now, Owl Pendant in Tartarus, Chthonic Coin Purse in Asphodel, and Lucky Tooth everywhere else. And I don't want to buy any of that, so we're off.
Up we go.
Oh yeah, and I also get health every chamber now because of my mirror.
Hot up here.
Keep eyes out. Oh yeah, and there's a glint over here, so there's urn. There we go. And fishing points. Don't forget about fishing points. They can be anywhere. They can even be here. And generally, there's one every realm. That's not always true, but just make sure you're keeping your eyes and ears open for those fishing points, because giving fish to the chef is very useful. And see, now you don't have to worry about the bomb that these guys drop when they die, because you'll automatically deflect it, and then it doesn't hurt you anymore.
Good enough. I'll take what's mine.
Who dares?
You do have to be careful about where your footing is. It's very easy to dash into the lava here. Like that. And that.
Idiots.
There we are.
I was like, I think I saw out of the corner of my eye another story room, which is awesome. This is actually going to change. The keepsake pattern I just mentioned is now going to be obsolete.
Majesty.
From within a humble residence in Asphodel reverberates the golden-sounding voice of Lorne Eurydice, who once attempted to escape the underworld and failed utterly, much like Prince Zagreus.
You watch yourself, old man.
So make sure you give her a nectar as soon as possible, because she has one of the better keepsakes in the whole game.
Eurydice, thank you for making me feel welcome in your pleasant home. Can't say the same for most places I've been lately. I have a small gift I wanted you to have.
Oh, that's awful sweet of you, Your Royal Majesty. Bringing me fresh ingredients like this. You know what? Here's something for you two. Help keep you safe out there.
Thanks so much.
The evergreen acorn makes it so you have a protective shield during the boss rooms in each realm. And the more you rank it up, the more hits you can take without taking any damage. It's very good when you're very early in the game. Oh, forgot to actually talk to her. Whoops.
Hey, it's the Hades kid. What's it going to be this time,
How many boons do I have? Upgradable ones. I've got 4. So I can get Bomb Porridge to automatically upgrade all 4 of them. Or I can roll the dice. It's 50-50 chance that I get... Was it 50-50? Yeah. That I get the Divine Strike upgraded. I'm gonna roll those dice.
Good
Come on, come on, come on. No!
So good.
Instead, it was Artemis's Aid and Mistral Dash. Alright, moving on.
See you next time.
So now, instead of Lucky Tooth, I like to use Evergreen Acorn. Oh, and another fountain room?
Oh,
This is
good.
great.
This has to be the chamber renovation I put in.
So, the plan is... You use the Owl Pendant in Tartarus, the Chthonic Coin Purse in Asphodel, and the Lucky Tooth after, until you get the Evergreen Acorn, and then you switch out the Lucky Tooth with that. So, since we already got it, that's what we'll be doing. And then... Let's see here. So now, how many nectar do I need to save up? I have 3. I need to save 1 for Dusa, And then after that, it doesn't matter. So yeah, let's give one to Hermes, because we're going to want to eventually anyway.
Lord Hermes, please accept this gift as a small token of my appreciation. Thank you for always keeping me on my toes.
Oh, mighty keen of you to leave a tip there, boss. And I have a tip for you. Don't be slow. Maybe this'll help with that.
Plus he has a pretty good keepsake.
Lord Hermes, I'm in your debt.
His is different than the other gods as well, because it does not guarantee a Hermes boon. Instead, what it does is, every time you clear a chamber quickly, as it says, you get an extra, like, 1% dodge chance or something like that. Some percent dodge chance.
What's going on there, cuz? Can I call you cuz? Got something here for you. Should make your battles to the death end that much quicker.
And a dodge chance, just, yeah, it's right there. Dodge. Definitely avoid an instance of damage you would have taken. It's just automatic. You get no damage. So this is actually pretty good if you've already gotten your call, and this will not appear if you don't. Especially if it's one that you're going to use all the time, like not save up all the way full to max call gauge, whatever you want to call it. And on this one, like the Artemis's call is fine to not save up. And so, and you can also build it up in 10 seconds, so you can almost guarantee once you activate it the first time, you just constantly have 30% move speed and dodge chance for like the rest of the encounter. But what I'm gonna do, because I want to again roll those dice and I want to showcase a particular combo, the hyper delivery combo uses hyper sprint from Hermes and rush delivery from Hermes. Because hyper sprint makes it so after you dash, you become sturdy, which means you take less damage, and you move 100% faster for half a second. And then, since we're going to be dashing so often, it's almost constantly on. And rush delivery makes it so that any movement buffs we have also get added to damage. So since if you combine it with hyper sprint, when you dash, you move 100% faster, and then with rush delivery, that also translates to 100% extra damage. So that combo is extremely good.
Whew, felt that.
If you can pull it off.
That's a relief.
And since hyper sprint is just good in this build in general, I always take it.
Moving right along.
Oh, this is going to be great because I deflect everything now.
Hello, Witch's Circle.
See how I just deflect everything now? It's fantastic.
Well,
and my chthonic coin purse ranked up. This is sweet.
In the name of Hades.
Ooh. And we get our first duo boon. I don't think we've talked about these yet, have we? There are prerequisites, which you'll be able to look up momentarily, that lead to a duo boon. This one is the one that pairs with Athena. You need to have at least one Athena boon, and there's a list of particular ones that you need, and a list of Demeter boons that you need, and since I have one of each, apparently, I have access to this, which as you can see, if I have no Death's Defiances, I get 1 health every 8.8 seconds. This is actually pretty good. It can be useless. It's either useless or incredible, really. Because if you never run out of Death's Defiance, then you just wasted a boon choice. But if you do run out of Death's Defiances, then it's extremely hard for you to die, because you can always just dash away from the action and kind of, you know, play defensively. Kind of like Cursed Slash. You just constantly heal yourself. And so if you play things right, you never die. So this is like a very good backup plan if you're not very confident in yourself. And, as we'll see in just a second, there's also a prophecy for achieving every duo boon, selecting every duo boon at least once. And the reward for that one is very, very good. So you can also think of that if you want to pick this, your first duo boons, if you want to just pick all the duo boons. I'm not going to be going for that prophecy because it takes a lot of work to pull it off. And this is just a guide for getting through the whole game, so in that case, but I'm also not going to be applying 10 stacks of chill very much. That would be the other option, so we'll just take this, kind of a backup plan, and we'll move on. The Gorgons suck. They shoot little rocks that turn you to stone and make it so make you wide open to attacks from everybody else. The stone lasts for quite a while. It's super annoying, but worst of all is that the rocks they shoot at you are very slow and extremely good at tracking. They're hard to dodge forever, and they float around and they can float over the lava, which make them hard to chase down. They suck. I hate them. Oh, I forgot I had the revenge thing. That would combo well with the that Arctic blast that I've passed up.
Gods grant me strength.
Because that automatically applies 10 stacks of chill whenever I take damage. And then that would trigger the Arctic blast. I didn't even think about that. Whoops. Alright, but now I get to talk about a duo boon. Notice as there's no enemies, you have to pick one. And whichever one you do not pick is going to get upset and send some enemies your way. And while you are fighting those enemies, you have to deal with a particular, I don't even know what you want to call it, effect around the arena. And the effect depends on which god it is you did not choose. It's the same type of effect that you see when you're fighting Theseus. And, ooh, maybe I should add this to my guide as well. I have kind of a tier list for which ones are the most difficult. Neither of these are that hard. Athena will randomly have little spikes kind of shoot out of the ground that you'd have to dodge. That are... They have a telltale sign, like a little circle shows up underneath where they're going to come out. Excuse me. Athena, though, hers is occasionally will make a circle will create on the ground, and any enemy in the circle will become impervious for like 5 seconds. It's that one's much easier because it doesn't cause any damage. It just makes the enemies that much more difficult, and they're really not that difficult. You can just back away while they're impervious. Or, if you really wanted, there is a trophy or achievement for using a greater call against its own god. So since I have the Artemis call, I could make Artemis angry, save up my greater call, and then use it, and it would unlock a trophy for using her call against her. But I'm not in this for the trophies. It's not a trophy guide. Let me know if you want that. So I'm going to pick Artemis because I would rather deal with Athena. And I will take support fire. It's much better than pressure points, I think. Might have to do some testing on that.
If you had given due consideration to this matter, then I doubt you would have chosen this outcome.
Lady Athena, I'm sorry.
I think they always cause armored enemies to show up. You might have seen that circle appear. Ah, yeah, there it is. Oh, what in the world just happened? I was not paying attention. So see how it's impervious.
I'm empty.
Yep, there's that circle, and when it popped, he or she became impervious. I gotta stop standing in the lava.
Now she's angry.
Members of our family is inevitable, Zagreus. All we can do is learn and grow from it.
Oh, yeah, I think I'll just take that, because it replenishes the one Death's Defiance I just lost.
Strength of the goddess.
And a little note about that is these duo boon rooms are very good, because as you just noticed, I got 2 boons in 1. So the rooms are harder themselves, but totally worth it. There's a fishing point. Make sure you're keeping your eyes peeled.
Got a crustacean.
Also, a note about fishing is it will never bob more than 4 times. So if it bobs 3 times without triggering, then you can guarantee that the next one will.
Care to provide me any insight as to just what sort of hideous monstrosity awaits me over on the next infernal island, Chiron mate? That bad, huh?
Alright. I don't know why he asked that, it's always the same.
Get back in the magma and no one gets hurt.
See, now we're tearing butt. And you can deflect all of his little... Oh, what the... Was I standing in lava? What just happened? I thought I would be deflecting those little beams, but I guess I messed up. So I got my greater call saved up. So I'm gonna wait until I get rid of all the extra heads, and then I will use it to quickly end the fight.
Keep them coming.
Dang it, what is happening? I'm taking lots of damage from somewhere. Not doing a very good job at showing off this build. It's not fully formed yet though, keep in mind. We have the main parts of it already achieved, unlocked, etc. But it's only going to get better from here. Oh my goodness gracious. We might fail to escape, which is going to be embarrassing.
Picked up their scent.
What? None of those critted. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever used her greater call on the Bone Hydra and not had it instantly kill it.
No?
Not on phase 3 anyway. That was ridiculous.
No paradise awaits you, boy.
Alright, so Evergreen Acorn now. Now we're definitely in the market for a Kiss of Sticks.
Closer.